yourself and what do you do? What is your role here?
Yeah, so I am Ferdie Kahn, and I am the owner of Brickyard. And we've had Brickyard for the past 7 years in Glorieta, and here in Ayala Malls, Manila Bay, we opened last year, so we're just 1 year old here.
When did Tamiya gaming start in the country, sir?
Well, Tamiya Gaming essentially started, I guess, in early 1990s. Kind of died down, and then in early 2000s again, it had a resurgence. And it's really been around since then. When we came around when we introduced Brickyard, we essentially just brought it out from from mga bahay-bahay, mga ganon. So we brought it out to the malls and all that, and just basically gave it another resurgence.
Well, why Tamiya?
Why Tamiya?
Yeah.
It was my hobby when I was a kid. I've known it since I was my dad used to buy it for me. Not necessarily the Tamiya that you're talking about, which is those small cars. I used to be in the RC because the small cars came and I was already in college. But when I started the business again, noticed that it had so much following. So I mean, yan na lang ang inisip namin na we'll bring it back first, and then the RC came. As you can see, RC came second essentially.
Have you watched an F1 race?
Oh yeah. I watched an F1 race in the US, actually, in Indianapolis. Yes, and it's very nice, actually, very nice, yes.
Sir, when Tamiya Gaming started in the
When? I would say after the resurgence, essentially in the 2000s, early 2000s. And then recently did we start having again the international races. So we have races every year to qualify yung mga racers natin to represent the Philippines in the international competition.
For a beginner who wants to get into the hobby, so what would you advise them?
Come over. Come to the store. There's a lot of marami yung just starting, right? You just get a kit. The kits are less than 1,000 pesos. Okay? You just build it, you play, and you essentially you upgrade it. Right? Now, of course, the upgrading takes a little more money, of course, involved. Pero yung maganda kasi sa store is there's other racers and the community is very good. They like sharing. And so, and there's no charge. You can just stay here the entire day. The only requirement we really have is it has to be all Tamiya. Pero you can stay here the entire day and just hang out. I mean, that's what we're all about. It's really just a tambayan, right?
Sir,
it's a community.
Talk about the trends. What's in, what's out?
What's in, what's out? There's a trends now essentially is, so when you talk about the car itself, there's the basic and there's the very, very top grade. There's something in the middle now, which is partially upgraded, and that's what's all the rage right now in most of Asia. Right, so it's not the open. We call it X stock, which is basically just you can upgrade the car, but you cannot customize. You can just keep upgrading it, right? And that's the trend right now. And for the beginners, what we call box stock. So right now we are actually having a box stock race for children and for adults for Halloween, and that's something that you just build out of the box and you race it already. Straight out of the box.
Can you tell us about your experience in Tamiya and local and international competitions?
So locally, the passion is incredible, right? You can see when we have races, we have 500 to about 700 racers. And you can see them, if you come to one of our big races, you can see them really very focused on their car. Nakikita mo talagang so much passion, right? And we compete very well against international. Unfortunately, we haven't won yet, but we've been very, very close. We won actually when we hosted it in 2019. So let me correct myself. We did win in 2019 when we hosted it. And then of course we had the pandemic. 2022 we were semis. 2023 we reached the semis. But hopefully 2025 next year in Taiwan.
Will be our game.
Yes, and 2026 we will host it again. Right.
Speaking of local, who are the Filipino celebrities who are passionate about Tamiya?
Specific names?
Yeah.
There was a few. You know, like I don't know if I should mention the name per se, but I guess like
Male actor or
yeah,
celebrity?
male actor, a very lady from a very popular ladies group right now, who used to come to the store, especially you know maybe like last year, right when they weren't so popular.
I think I know. Does it start with the B?
Again, yeah, I cannot.
You
say
cannot
that.
say the letter.
Before, you know, we have a singer that comes to our Vertis store quite often, who just, you know, just very, very casual, just comes by, you know, does little playing. You could hardly see that who she is, but you know, wearing a cap or something, not really hiding, but it's, you know, there's a few. RC especially, politicians, you know, like movie stars, maybe about middle age, who still do some radio control racing.
You sound like a blind item columnist.
Yeah, it's a. You know, I don't know if I should say anything. Really, so,
Yeah.
so,
Daily view.
yeah, exactly.
Maybe
So-
next time magbigay ng mga pictures dyan.
Very tempting, actually. Very tempting.
To display na they're very influential.
Yeah, yeah.
Inspire naman kami.
Very tempting. Yes.
Yeah, we heard you got the biggest racetrack here in the Philippines. Here.
Well,
for-
yeah. So the one that we'll visit later is the biggest RC track that we know of, right? There used to be RC tracks that have since closed down, I guess, or something like that. But the biggest RC track we know of, especially inside the mall, right? Because it's about 350 square meters, which is huge, right? And this is essentially world-class size. So when you go to an international tournament,
Ganito pala.
this is essentially the size that they use.
I guess there's a specification.
Not really, but you know, when it's too small, usually you have 10 racers in a group. When it's too small, there's you know, it ends up banggaan na lang, diba? And you don't want that, of course.
Can you tell us about the process and, if possible, the cost of building that racetrack?
The process is begging,
long?
trying to work with Ayala to allow us to lease the space. And again, it's being leased, right? It's not
Okay.
free.
Yeah.
But Ayala, especially Ayala Malls, Manila Bay, they're very nice people. They really try to help. Other than that, essentially, the most expensive is the carpet. So it's a carpet track, right?
So indoor yung racing.
Oh yes, it's indoor. So again, that's why it's one of the largest indoor tracks that you can
So
find.
if it's a big track, so racers are elevated ba? Same ground?
No, we have some elevation. Normally, it's about 3 to 4 feet higher. Ours is maybe a little lower. Maybe ours is about 3 feet only. But yes, you are elevated so that you can see the entire track.
Magastos ba tong hobby na to? Sorry ba?
So if you're so there's two, right? The small one, the small little cars, what they always call Tamiya. The entry is low. Pero when you start, pag bumibili ng upgrade,
Ano na?
malaki rin, right? Umabot ng thousands, right? Yung RC naman, yung unang bili mo, thousands. Pero, usually yun na. Usually yun na yan. It's not, you just maintain it kung nasira or something like that. We have the parts naman, hindi naman throwaway. Right? So we have the parts naman. So I would say actually the RC, yes, is a little more expensive in the in the long run, but not
At first.
that much. Not that much from the small one. It adds up. It really does. It adds up.
So for pricing, for the starter kit yung sa Tamiya sa RC,
Yes.
magkano yung starter kit natin?
Starter kit of a Tamiya is less than 1,000 pesos. Right? You have 650, 700. You know, a little more upgraded is 1,100. And that's, as I said, starter na. When it comes naman to the RC, you're looking probably at about around 15,000. Yeah, around 15,000. Complete set, ready to run. And it's a thing. It's a competition. You can compete again. You can compete already with it.
Do you need like a membership or Brickyard to be able to use the racetrack?
For the big one upstairs, yes. We have a membership. It's essentially just 1,000 pesos
That's annually or monthly?
annually, right?
Pwede
That,
ba?
and again, you don't. When you bring your car, it's free. You can use the track as much as you
That's
want.
really good.
We are open. Essentially, we're mall hours, right? So the track is always there. You just have to register here so we can bring somebody upstairs. But the mini or the small cars that everybody calls Tamiya, it's free. We don't have any so-called membership. You can come to the store, just
So it's free to use the...
Yeah, actually here in the store, even this track right we're standing on, this is free. It's only that big one over there because it's a whole different, it's like a whole different business, right? So we kind of charge just a bit, primarily for maintenance.
Can you tell us about the most prestigious RC, competitions in the world?
Oh, I'm sorry, say it again. The most?
The most prestigious RC
Yeah.
competitions in the world.
Well, there's several. One of the big Tamiya RC competitions essentially happens every November in Shizuoka, Japan, in Tamiya headquarters essentially, and it's called the World Challenge. We're actually going there on November 14 with 2 racers from the Philippines to compete there. Those 2 racers kasi have to have won in the regional, which we hosted just about a month ago in Circuit Makati, all right, where we had about 100 racers, 50 from the Philippines, 50 from overseas. That's the biggest one. That's specifically Tamiya. There are other ones in the United States or even in Thailand during the year, which some of our Filipino racers go to as well. But they're not specific to Tamiya. There's other brands, so you can race the other brands too.
Any plans on expanding the business, like more stores in the provinces and the cities?
Yeah, well, actually, for now, this is it. No, we've thought about having stores in the provinces. Unfortunately, I think from my perspective, if we don't open a store with a racetrack, then it really doesn't make sense anymore. If it's just a regular retail store. So it's not easy to get big spaces in the regional malls or the provincial malls. But we're looking. I mean, there's cities like Cebu, maybe Bacolod, even Davao. That every so often we'll investigate if there's something worthwhile doing.
So isa lang ang Brickyard sa Pinas?
We have 3 branches
Okay.
here, Glorieta, and Vertis North.
Lahat nasa Maynila.
Yeah, all in Manila. And then of course we have online, but yes, all in Manila. Metro Manila.
Do you have any organizations you can recommend? As a hobbyist that you can join here in the Philippines. Maybe
There's-
Facebook group.
Yeah, actually,
exclusive
ours.
yeah.
Ours. There's a lot of small little, I don't want to say small little, but there's a lot of organizations that are specific to, let's say, certain categories of the races.
What's the specific name of your organization?
It's just the Brickyard.
Brickyard.
Yeah, it's just the
Brickyard.
Brickyard.
So it's
Yeah.
also we're gonna look for that in Facebook.
Yes.
I mean, in the groups, does it say Brickyard Philippines or
It just says Brickyard. Yeah, it's just the Brickyard. Yeah,
It says Brickyard.
just exactly how it's spelled back there.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. Just Brickyard.
Why Brickyard? I mean, why did you decide to name it Brickyard?
So a long time ago, when we first thought about doing this, we were trying to find a space just to create a racetrack. I mean, the idea of just opening a racetrack was kind of, I don't know. I mean, it wasn't really a smart business idea. But then all of a sudden, Ayala in Glorieta 5, before Uniqlo became 2 stories, basically said, hey, there's a space there, we'll rent it. Go ahead and rent it, but we need your business name right now. The only thing I thought of was Brickyard because in the United States, there's a race called the Brickyard 400. And that was the first thing that I don't know why, just popped in my head, Brickyard. And ever since then, that's been the name. Yeah.
So before the pandemic, you organize a lot of events and activities.
Yes.
For example, bringing in the Japanese person.
Mr. Tamiya. Mr. Tamiya
Taylor
himself.
Tamiya.
Yes,
Tamiya.
during our opening in Glorieta.
Glorieta.
So he came to, sign autographs.
And also the design of the Jeep Tamiya.
jeepney,
So
yes.
any plans in the future to bring him back here or do another version to the Jeep?
Well, he's 90 years old.
Oh my God. I guess,
Very, very, very healthy though. Very, very healthy. So I don't know if we'll let him do that. With regard to another version of the Jeep, all I can say is we're going to do a Philippine car, right? A special Philippine car. We're in the process of making the design. Maybe about 2 or 3, maybe in about 2025.
Do you think anong car to Philippines? What it makes it Philippines?
We're trying to highlight, let's say, the Philippines itself, right? Whether it be the flag, whether it be the colors, maybe something to do with, I don't know, maybe something specific. I don't know, the eagle. Let's say the Philippine eagle, right? There are such things called animal racers that Tamiya has. So there's a pig, there's a dog. I don't know, maybe we'll try Philippine eagle.
For example.
Ganun ba usually ang designs ng
Ano,
Tamiya?
they have that group that's the animal racers, but they have also the racing cars. Right?
So, gaano kahirap sir pag gumawa ng licensing? Kasi you're doing a licensing deal with the Tamiya, no? To create that designs, no?
Yeah, I mean, we work together with them anyway because we are the official distributor in the Philippines, right? So we have a very, very good relationship.
Okay.
So it's a matter of, actually they help us design. We give them ideas, and then they help us design, and then we give them as well our ideas, and we design essentially. We collaborate.
So it's a Philippine exclusive.
Pretty much, yes. Especially in the beginning, let's say the jeepney. There's 2 jeepney versions. The first one, the red one, was exclusive for about 1 year, and then it became one of the best-selling Tamiyas ever. And then we came up with a chrome one that was essentially really just Philippines.
So they use it for racing rin.
They sell it, yeah?
Sa pang-racing, ginagamit ni Canada.
Yeah. If you actually go to the Tamiya store in Tokyo, our jeepney is one of the right at their their coffee shop. So it's actually right there. So it's very popular even outside the Philippines.
Mr. Kahn, is it in the books for Brickyard to have a Tamiya convention in the future?
We've thought about that, right? We've really thought about that. Working with we're working with the malls to try to figure out how it would how we would be able to organize it. But yes, to basically highlight both the Mini and the RC together is something that we've been planning to do.
This may sound a cheesy question, but how has Tamiya changed your life?
My life,
Yeah.
well, of course, business-wise, I mean, this is for me. This is fun, right? I mean, they always say if you work, at least enjoy your job. So I don't know how much more enjoyable, right? There's a saying that they introduced Mr. Tamiya before as in the person who developed the dreams of 1 million people, right? I'm living the dream of 1 million people as well, right? So selling this stuff. So yeah, I enjoy it. I mean, it's I've had the passion when I was a kid. I grew up, I was more, into school, and then I was working a real job. I mean, not that it's not a real job, but essentially, and then I came into this business. So it's changed my life a lot.
Are there other people in your family who got Tamiya 5?
So my son,
Yeah.
Tamiya 5.
yeah, my son, of course, I guess it passes from there to from me to him, and it's very good because basically now he's taking engineering. I mean, it's a very good, I guess, segue to a start to, let's say, STEM, right? Where people, even women, kids, start getting interested in engineering, mathematics, right? So it's a good stepping stone, right? And we have a lot of women, we have a lot of children who come to the store and just build. Yeah, sometimes we have date nights, right? So where boyfriend, girlfriend, they come, they buy a kit, they build it, they film themselves on their phone, and then they publish it on TikTok or whatever. Quite a bit actually.
So do you have, like, they call it the Brickyard Academy, for example? You train the young ones to be professional racer, Mini or RC? Do you have that kind of
No, we don't
program?
have. We thought about the RC Academy, right?
RC Academy.
Because when it comes to Mini, I mean, again, you just come to my store. We have a bunch of technicians willing to help you. So I mean, it's every day, right? The RC Academy is a little more involved, and RCs are a little harder to build. So yeah, that one maybe is something that we've looked at.
To be a qualified RT technician, you need a special exam or license.
Passion. That's all I would say. Passion. It's not, you know, when you look at this stuff, you think it's very hard to build. But once you build it once, twice, then, you know, kind of automatic.
It's like
not-
assembling a gun.
well, well, yeah,
Yeah.
maybe, maybe. Yes.
Yeah. Aside from this one, do you have any other businesses?
No. No, this is it.
Okay.
Yeah, this is it. So I'm an IT professional background, but I don't do IT anymore. I mean, it's been a long time.
How many Tamiya cars do you have?
Well, actually, very little.
Oh,
Yeah. I used to have so many when I was a kid. But you know, I grew up. I moved away actually. I moved to the US for quite some time. So my parents moved and all that, houses, so you know, disappeared. Now all my Tamiya kits, maybe about 4 or 5, they're displayed here in the studio.
your
What are your favorite car models?
So for the RC, hotshot, right? I think I don't know if you guys have reached the hotshot age, but that was like, again for my age, that was like when I was a kid that I always wanted, and my dad wouldn't buy it for me. Right? So finally, you know, I was able to buy my own. But basically, it's the hotshot, which is an RC off-road car. Mini, you know, I have to say that the Jeepney is actually my favorite. It's really cool car.
your message to Tamiya fans and the hobbyists.
Yeah, so you know, I think I just want everybody to know that they're welcome, right? As long as you have Tamiya cars and you're willing to share your passion, you know, our stores are open for you. As I said, there's no charge essentially to come to our stores. And again, together, you know, we're trying as well to continue to make sure that the hobby itself lives or continues to flourish. And you know, we'll be having stuff 2025. We have a lot of stuff planned, and we're going to be announcing it maybe within the next month or so on what we're going to do for 2025, and it's going to be much bigger than 2024.